Yeah, g'day folks. Just had to run into town and drop the wife off. She's going into the pub for a few drinks, meeting up with someone. So yeah, what I'm going to waffle on about, I thought this is a good opportunity driving out of town in peak hour traffic, is satellite phones. And I just recently had to organise some kind of new plan for my sat phone, and it's occurred to me, I've had this thing for nearly 20 years now, and is it worth it? Have I had it? Or having had it for that long, have I needed it? Have I used it? And yes, once we did use it in a motorcycle crash, and I'll get to that. But yeah, from a financial point of view, you know, we've had this thing now, like I said, for close to 20 years, and the annual sort of or monthly subscription has varied between $10 a month and $65 a month, which it currently is now, but I can suspend it. So it currently costs somewhere between $480 and $700 a year, depending on whether it's activated or not. But the beauty with the current plan on is that you can call the thing just from your regular mobile, and the callers pay nothing. I pay nothing to receive. So if you need to make a non-emergency urgent call, you just text the person and they'll call you back. So it's pretty good for that. So yeah, mine's at a 9505A Motorola Iridium, and yeah, we've had it for some time, and we've used it to make calls. When we were in the Simpson this year, we were checking back at home with my daughter, and it was worth having just for the convenience. But anyway, so to the point, we have used it in an emergency. We had to call 000. We're heading up to the Simpson, and it was just the four of us. The kids were quite little. It was 2006, I reckon. So yeah, 18 years ago. We're heading to Inaminka. We had left Lyndhurst, and back then you didn't really, well, I didn't, I still don't have GPSs and all the fancy stuff that you can have now, but certainly back then. So I was still navigating the old-fashioned way with a paper map, which I still do, and setting the trip meter. So I've set the trip meter at Lyndhurst, and off we go, heading for Inaminka. We're meeting some people there. We're going up to Mooma to meet someone. So we've been gone, I don't know, an hour, probably a little bit less. We came round the corner and we could see someone laying on the road, just on the edge of the road. And then we realised a guy on his motorbike had crashed, and there was another fella with him. So we've pulled up, and I've gone out to see what's going on, and yeah, he'd crashed all right. And he had hurt his ribs pretty badly. Who knows if they were broken or just bruised, but they had no sat phone. They had other guys in the group who were ahead. They had the sat phone with them, so they were there on their own, and we came along, and I said, I've got a sat phone, I'll call up 000 for you, and let's get this sorted out. So we've called 000, we've got the call centre, and they said, where are you? And I explained I'm 80 kilometres on the Strzelecki track from Lyndhurst. And the bird on the phone said, yep, oh right, you're just past Mount Hopeless or something. I can't remember the exact place, but you get the general idea. So she had pinpointed us pretty close on the map. She knew exactly where we were. She said, no worries, we'll get onto it, and we've got your number, or give us your number. We gave them our number, and we'll call you back if we need to know anything. So she, actually no, we're left on hold for a bit, that's right, and so she's poking around, and so she got through to whoever she gets through to, I don't know, I haven't got a clue. Anyway, she said that an ambulance will be coming up from Lee Creek and more than likely fly him back from Lee Creek to Adelaide, depending on, you know, what the situation with his injuries are. So that's fine. She hung up, and we're with this guy. So we're chatting away to him, and then we got a call back, and they wanted to get some details of the fella. So we gave him all that, and checking up on his progress. And by now he was actually getting quite cold. His mate had put his jacket over the top, so his mate reckons he's going into shock. So I don't know. I have heard that's what happens. You could see him shivering. Come on, girlie, how'd you come? And so anyway, we gave him all the details, and she confirmed that, yep, an ambulance is coming from Lee Creek, and they'll take him back there and fly him off to Adelaide. So by now, I'm not sure how much time had passed, and then not long after, we received a phone call from the Royal Adelaide Hospital. So our details have been passed on, checking up on his condition again, and just confirming that he will be coming to the Royal Adelaide. The ambos are on their way, or will be shortly. Now this is why the sat phone is so good, because we are doing this direct with doctors, with the hospital, I think we may have even got a call from Royal Flying Doctors. I can't quite remember if the doctor was from the hospital or from the Royal Flying Doctors. But we received 2 or 3 calls. And yeah, there's no middleman. I guess we're the middleman, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so we've let him know what's going on. So by now, we knew that someone was coming for him. And we'd been there a good hour, and not a single car had gone past, bike or anything. It's just as well we came along. So these guys, by now the other guy was very uncomfortable, and his mate was begging us to keep going, to move on and go find his mates. Now we weren't real happy about that. We really didn't want to leave, but because we'd been there so long, he wanted us to go look for them. So we did that, and we went and found them, and that was fine. And then we finally got another call from the Royal Adelaide Hospital. I remember this, and he was just checking up on his conditions, and he said, yeah, we're all here waiting for him. So never found out the outcome of this guy or what was wrong with him, but you know, clearly it was probably busted ribs. Their main concern was a punctured lung, and they kept asking about his breathing, and his breathing seemed okay, so they were pretty confident he didn't have a punctured lung. Anyway, so yeah, an hour and a half has gone, still no one has come past on the Strzelecki. I think nowadays it might be a bit busier. So we took off on our trip, and that just highlights how good a satellite phone is. Now back then there weren't the spot messengers or the Garmin InReach and whatnot you can get nowadays. All these things are absolutely fantastic what you can get now, but you still need, it's still texting, because you know, when someone lets off their PLB in the middle of nowhere, the first thing they do is fly over, and if they can, and drop off a sat phone so they can find out what the problem is, you know, because they don't know. Have you got a busted leg? Have you been bitten by a snake? The wife belt you with a shovel? You know, you just don't know what went wrong. So yeah, that's why we keep our satellite phone, because it is so convenient. We think we'll just keep paying the money until we're too old and doddery to be able to head to the Outback. And look, we spend more money on booze and restaurants than even what we spend on the sat phone is just a pittance compared to the other stuff. So we'll always keep it. Now that's how great sat phones are, but of course the downside is if you're coming into the game now, you probably may or may not buy a sat phone. They are expensive, the plans are expensive. 4-wheel drive, no worries, you've got all the space in the world to keep it. But on a motorbike, a pushy or something like that, they're just a big thing that you just can't sort of shove in your pocket. So, you know, on my trips on the bike, I carry a PLB. So if it was a real emergency, that's what I'd be setting off. And if I'm able to get into the sat phone, which I have just sort of in the top of my bag, I would follow up with a phone call. But yeah, I reckon if you're coming into some kind of communication purchase now, I think I would go with the Garmin InReach, because it's with Iridium, so it's reliable. I know there's other satellite things out there, but I think they're the most reliable, possibly not the cheapest, but I've seen so many adventure riders communicating with each other on those Garmin InReach gadgets. They look really good. So I think if you were new, that's what you'd go for, if that's what you're after. But anyway, so that's what I'd say. You know, it was really good to have the sat phone to be able to call up and know that behind the scenes, the emergency 000 call centre are doing their stuff. They're organising everything, and they knew what was wrong with this guy, so they had everything. They didn't have to send someone up to find out why he's laying on the side of the road. They had all the information. So that's pretty much it, I reckon. Just sort of bit of a waffle about that. Can't think of anything else. Big and bulky, expensive, but very convenient. Oh, I should say with the coverage, we never had a problem with connecting with the satellite, particularly out there. It's pretty instant. It works really well. I know people have said in gullies and ravines and whatnot, it can be a bit hit and miss, but not too many gullies and mountains in the Outback where we spend most of our holidays. Alright, well, I'm going to go home, have a nice icy cold Coopers, and then I'll get the call later in a couple of hours to go pick up the wife. Hopefully she's alright. Hasn't had too many champagnes on an empty stomach. Alright, that's it folks. Bye for now.